Welcome, everyone. It is with great pleasure to welcome Anis, co-founder and CEO at Attention.com, our diamond sponsor. RevCon definitely would not be possible without you guys and your support. So without further ado, over to you, Anis.
Thank you, Gina. It's great to meet you all. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Attention.com. We have 45 minutes today, so we're going to spend the first 30 minutes walking through how we grew extremely fast, who we are, and maybe share some of the best practices that we've learned along the route. To give you kind of like an idea, we went from 200K to 2 million AR in 12 months, and 300K to 3 million AR in 12 months too. And so basically, what I want to share with you today is how you can apply AI or everything that is around AI to grow at a 10x year-over-year rate, right? To tell you more about myself and then also about our business, to start with, so I've been passionate in growth hacking ever since, forever. I actually was an actual black hat hacker in my teenage years, hacking into web servers for fun. And so I really kept that mindset over time, when I was an investment banker to make my days a lot more enjoyable. And then also all the rest throughout my career, the last startup that I founded and then sold in 2021, and then also at Attention. And so that being said, I was already sending emails with AI before ChatGPT existed in 2021 and was having incredible response rates. And so over time, obviously today, you're noticing that everyone is starting to send out emails using AI, and there's buyers are getting flooded. So really, growth hacking is all about being ahead of the curve and how you can kind of like get creative around your business to get buyers to notice you. So that's kind of like the broad introduction about myself and what I love about growth hacking. I'll share a lot about basically top of funnel, right? Demand gen, how you can boost your demand gen in some ways. I don't know how experienced everyone here is in the audience, but what I'll do is I'll say very broad, share a few examples and use cases every time. And then from there, we can also get more granular within the Q&A session. About also Attention, shameless plug here, Attention.com is, yes, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. So we very simply automate work out of your customer conversations, right? It's not just a simple note taker. We capture everything around your customer interactions and then automate a lot of the work, whether it pertains to revops, whether it pertains to sales, whether it pertains to product and marketing, whether it pertains to enablement. And so we really capture everything that comes from your conversations, deals, or conversations in aggregate. Spend a lot of time building a product that can analyze your conversations, thousands of conversations in aggregate, get the most granular insights, and then create work for you, right? Your enablement content base, your ping your sales or your leaders whenever something important is happening, and so on. But we'll get into that later. And we're used by over 200 sales teams today, including some of the logos that you might see here: Clay, Aircall, Crunchbase, and of course, RevGenius, but also a lot of other clients such as Rev.com, Bamboo HR, and so on. So let's jump straight into it. What's changed today, right? In a very simple way, pre-LLM world, pre-ChatGPT, you had all this unstructured data that was existing out there in the internet, and it was very hard to be able to use that data to create actions, right? And so what you can do today in the post-LLM world is restructure that data into something that makes sense. And so think about it very simply, right? You can you can take someone's LinkedIn page, all the data, and then run it through Chat GPT and get an icebreaker that matters to you, right? As easy as that. And so that's how you take a lot of unstructured data and you restructure it into the output that you need. So that being said, that will definitely allow you to get as creative as you can and really use some of that data to be able to grow. So today what we're going to talk about is lead generation, right? How do you get more leads? And again, you have to be as creative as possible. Some examples with you, but at the end of the day, your business has its own specificities, and you might be able to create some growth hacks that can work for your business and that will not work for other businesses. So you have, again, to be very creative. And when you bring anyone in a lead gen function, you don't necessarily need to bring someone who's done growth marketing in the past, but you do need to bring someone who can get very creative, and kind of like teach them some of the roles. I'll talk about how you can also boost your sales. Once you get those leads, how do you close? How do you close as many as possible? How do you boost your win rates? And so that also pertains to enablement or revops too. And then we haven't really cracked this one yet, and because we're still not there yet, but customer success is also something where there's a ton that you can do. AI, we started to do some of this stuff related to customer onboarding, handover notes, and so on. But there's an entire ocean of workflows that can be created also using AI for customer success. So I'm going to start with lead gen, right? So I'm sure you guys know some of the logos in here. This is some of the stack that we use today to be able to generate demand. And so when you think about it, some of the top of funnel tools, obviously, I'm sure a lot of people here know Clay, Captain Data and Cargo, and also Phantom Buster have been incredible tools for us to scrape the right data, orchestrate some of the insights that we get out of the data, and then use that for our own growth. So I will start actually with Cargo. Which I'm sure a lot of people actually don't know here, which is kind of like one of our secret tools and superpowers over at Attention. So Cargo basically allows us to connect some of the data that we capture to our data warehouse, and actually allows us to really be able to scale our operations, our growth operations, in a way that has not been able to do that we haven't been able to do before, right? So and that's kind of like at the center of our system, where we get a lot of the data into Cargo, we clean it up, we remove what needs to be removed, and then it goes into our Salesforce, and then from our Salesforce into our instantly email sender. And so to give you an example here, with Cargo, what we do is we take a lot of lookalike accounts from the customers that we close. That generates a massive list of potential companies, and then we start tracking them, right? We track things such as hiring trends, job movements, growth signals around the company, and also LinkedIn posts, a lot of different signals that allow us to understand when there's potential interest or when there's intent from a company to buy a tool like ours, right? Or even to understand, maybe they might be a little more top of funnel. They might not have heard about us, and so we could always figure out ways to get in front of them and reach out to them without necessarily pitching them our product, right? But even creating that type of brand awareness. So I think a lot of people today use the tools that I've mentioned, but I think where we've been very different over here is that a lot of people today talk about the death of the BDRs, which I think to me is extremely cringe. BDRs are here to stay, right? but what's going to change is how their roles are changing. And what I believe is that BDRs are, they're kind of like frontline people who talk to the clients, who hear, who get first level feedback from the market, how people are interested, what kind of clicks with them from a growth perspective. And so what we really did here, our BDRs still cold call and send manual emails and are out there to do a lot of things that don't scale, but also we've enabled them with the ability to be a lot more technical, kind of like BDR engineers in a way, and build their own workflows, right? And so they'll use tools like Captain Data, Clay, Phantom Buster to scrape the data that is out there, to basically run as many tests as possible manually, see what kind of like clicks and where they see success, and then from there, once they see a singular success in something, they will go out, create their own Clay tables, they will start replicating this, growing this, or use also a tool like Captain Data, which is in my opinion the best product out there to scrape LinkedIn in real time and get without getting your account banned. Phantom Buster is very similar to Captain Data, just a little easier to use if you're less technical, but also has some a specific amount of limitations compared to Captain Data. And all of this gets pushed into our cargo workflows that cleans up the contact list, right? For example, you might not want to reach out to people that you've reached out to in the last 15 days, right? But who are still not a prospect because someone else is actually reaching out to them. So this is where Cargo really helps us. All this goes to Salesforce, and then from Salesforce, it goes to Instantly, where we scale our outbound, right? And we send thousands and thousands of emails a day. We built an entire infrastructure of 50 plus domain names that allow us to send these emails in a way that makes sense for us. And by the way, you can use any sort of CRM for this. You can use HubSpot. You can use anything that you really need there. So some of the things there, and I know I say pretty broad, but maybe I'll share actually some examples of work extremely successful for us, right? Some of them includes, one of them is, for example, scraping or capturing the transcript of a podcast with a successful leader, revenue leader, tying it to, or trying to find something that they said that is close to our value prop, put that into an icebreaker and send it as an email, right? We've been doing this for a while, and it actually gives us great response rates. Another one is, for example, also scraping G2 reviews, right, of a company's competitors, and say, hey, look, yes, by the way, related to the question, I'll cover sales in the middle of the funnel later on in a few slides. Yeah, scraping G2 reviews of a company's say, hey, look, this is what people are saying about your competitor. Well, now this is public data. Now attention can give you that data in private coming straight out of your customer conversations, right? In seconds, and they'll deliver to you straight in a Slack channel. Boom. That is extremely powerful. Another one is, using the Clay agents to scrape pricing pages of certain companies, figuring out that, let's say some companies have a consumption price model, understanding this and sending an email saying, hey, we've been helping a lot of other companies who have a consumption pricing model like you, and these are some of the use cases where we help them, right? And so again, be extremely relevant rather than personalized, because a lot of people are sending emails that are personalized. Relevance is a lot more important, in my opinion. And so these are some examples that you can definitely use, and happy to share more, over the Q&A. But at the end of the day, really think what makes sense to your business and what could, more importantly, make sense for your prospects business. So now let's talk about middle and bottom of funnel, right? Like how we've used attention to actually double our win rate, right? Our reps were around 15% win rate initially, and they all ended up closer to 30% win rate. And we use attention to do that. Eventually, our reps were closing over 200K of ARR each on a monthly basis, which, obviously having a great product helps, but also we've seen how they've gotten better and better over time using our own product and dog fooding what we have. And so, again, sorry for the shameless plug here, but we'll go over what attention can do in a way to get your reps to close more deals, right? So increasing your win rates, helping with sales velocity, ramping up new reps, scoring your reps on what they're doing, helping them to gain some time back with pushing data to the CRM, helping you obviously forecast better and so on, and pushing some of that information other teams such as product teams, marketing teams, CS teams, and so on. So let's start with the your hair is on fire type of problem. Everyone's struggling with perfect CRM hygiene, which is something that we've achieved just even using our own tool, and allows us to understand our customers better than anyone, and also being able to know exactly what's going to close on a basis or quarterly basis, while also saving our reps as much time as they can, giving them the ability to just talk to clients instead of going out and putting in notes either manually or at the end of the day or at the end of the week to do some of that admin work, right? So yeah, attention will automatically push the data from your calls, from all of your customer interactions into the CRM, which allows them again to be a lot more efficient, close more deals. You as a leader, you understand exactly what's happening across your deals. You can forecast better, and you can more specifically get into or intervene in certain deals as a leader. Reach out to your investors, reach out to your advisors, and try to get some help, instead of having to wait for the rep to get back to you and say, oh, this prospect has been ghosting me for the past 20 days, right? So on the coaching front, right, obviously it's very hard to watch every call recording, to track everything that is happening across your deals. And so a lot of sales leaders will have specific coaching frameworks. What attention will help you do is make sure your reps adhere to those coaching frameworks. It could be qualifying frameworks such as Medic, Spice, etc., or even your own custom in-house framework or methodology. You can put it in place. You can define what's good and bad, right? What is a 1 out of 10? What is a 10 out of 10? What is a 5 out of 10? And from there, have the ability for your reps to get feedback immediately at the end of a call every day. So why should you wait 7 days for your next one-on-one with your manager when you can get that level of granular coaching all day, every day, right? So the coaching scorecards will give you the ability to, or will tell reps where they're doing great, where they can do better, and what they should focus on for the next deals. Also, when it comes to, and I've added what one of our VP sales, one of our clients who's a VP sales said, which has been actually helping them close deals as reps were able to get access to decision makers more than usual, right? Now, I'll actually show you a market analysis that we did about the biggest bottlenecks of closing deals. And surprise, surprise, biggest bottleneck of closing deals is getting access to the decision maker, to authority. And most reps get happy ears. Most reps think that they can close because their champion says that they're the decision maker, or that their champion lacks the solution, they won't think about multi-threading, and eventually the deal gets lost. So now, once you get all these insights out of your calls, out of your conversations, there's a lot of workflows, just like at the top of the funnel. And again, you have to be very creative to come up with these. It needs to be justified by business needs, but at the bottom of the funnel or middle of the funnel, you can create a lot of workflows too, right? I want to Slack, I want to send a message to each AE automatically at the end of the day, a recap of all their action items for the day, right? Because sometimes they might be forgetting to do certain things. And being a good AE is all about being also very organized too. So you can create workflow automations like those, right? Like, hey, these are your 7 action items for today, based on your all the conversations that you've had. Boom. But also you can create workflow automations with for leaders, right? I want to ping leadership whenever a large ACV deal has no activity for the past 30 days, and I want an update on the deal, right? Telling me what's happening, and send this to me over Slack or over email, right? Or whenever someone mentions on a call that competitor can do XYZ feature, I want to create a note that goes to product marketing teams saying that this is what the competitor is doing that we weren't, that we didn't know before. Or I want to automatically update our sales enablement knowledge base or our battle cards based on what we're learning directly from calls. So there's a lot of different workflows that you can create on attention, based on the insights that are generated out of your calls. So enough with the self-promotion. I also share, just for the end of this presentation, a very simple thing that you can do with ChatGPT, even to accelerate your sales, right? And that most people even don't talk about. So what we did here is that we use our own tool, Attention, and we anonymized and analyzed, over 1,300 deals over the last quarter or two, to understand really in general what are the biggest bottlenecks of closing deals. And so we have this capability called Generalized Insights that allows you as a business to understand what's happening with your product or with your business. Think of it as ChatGPT for your own business, right? And we have a special anonymized version that allows us to analyze this across all of our customers. And so, well, surprise, as I said earlier, biggest bottleneck of closing deals. And so as you can see here, we just ran these on the call types that are only closing calls. Well, getting access to multiple stakeholders and internal buy-in is the biggest one, right? But then, one of the big ones too here, as you can see at the bottom, is legal and compliance review delays, right? This is big, right? This is something that delays everyone. They delay your deals, and so at the end of the day, time is the killer of all deals. You want to accelerate every InfoSec questionnaire filling, right? So what did we even do at Attention here? Because we had that problem too. Reps were getting InfoSec questionnaires, and those would sit for 2 to 4 weeks. Sometimes with 200 questions to have to be filled, we had to send them to engineers to fill some of the more technical questions. So we manually filled the first ones, and then what we did is we saved some of the questionnaires that we filled, anonymized them, and then created a GPT, a custom GPT called InfoSec Policy Assistant, where we uploaded those, and now any rep who has those questionnaires can go in, ask any question, and it will give them a very specific answer around anything that it pertains to our own policies, right? And so over time, obviously you need a human in the loop. Don't send it immediately as it is, but get, at least do the 80-20 or the 90-10, have everything automatically filled for you, and have your CISO or your head of IT or head of engineering review the questionnaire. If it's all good, you re-upload that new questionnaire to get it even more specific. And over time, you end up having something that will help most of your reps and will get them to progress through their deals faster. All right. I think we're right on time. Thank you. And now let me know if you have any questions. Let's open up the Q&A. Okay. Yes, please. So first question, I need to learn more about the Slack integration. Yes, absolutely. So what our Slack integration does is that you can really make it do whatever you need it to do, right? All you have to do is connect to your Slack channel. And then from there, what it can do is send certain messages to certain channels. It can also read some data if you wanted to read some data to compare, hey, this in the past or not. So it's read and write abilities to certain channels. And then what you can do from there is automate a lot of the message sending, right? What attention will do is you can break it down in 3 parts. The first one is the call recording part, right? And this is what we do for our own call recording. We use our own product, but you don't need to use attention to record calls. You can use any other tools out there. Then what attention can do is also capture the call recordings, either from attention or any other call recording, generate the insights, so generate the intelligence, and then from there automate the work and create the workflows that you need to push it to the places that you need, right? And so you don't necessarily, again, need to you could be using Gong, Chorus, or any other call recorder out there, sync it with attention, generate the insights, and then push the data into Slack or Salesforce or HubSpot or anything, or your sales enablement content base and so on, right? Great. So let me see.
Hey,
yeah.
Anis, we're excuse me, we're actually at time. So if we weren't able to I believe we are, right? Yeah.
No, I thought we had until 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's till 2. Guys, we're doing this over 2 days. I am so sorry for cutting you off. Hey, great thing about hosting live events, guys, things do happen. So my apologies. I'm going to remove myself back off stage and let Anis continue to answer the questions for you guys. I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. All right. So let me go through the questions also. All right. So what tool are we using for demo? We use our own tool to record, but again, you don't need to have attention as a note taker to generate all the insights and help with bottom of funnel, as I discussed. All right. Does it automatically? Yeah. So creating tasks really depends on where you want to have those tasks created, right? If it's on HubSpot, for example, yes, it can break down all the action items, create tasks into your HubSpot and separate them. Notifying via SMS. So that's really interesting. Given that we integrate with over 200 tools and we can integrate with Twilio, we can most likely send notifications via SMS, but we haven't done it in the past, but I would be 90% sure that we can do it. All right. Any more questions here? So from the POV of optimizing move, I've seen the most amount of data loss and inefficiencies. Let me see. So I'm trying to understand the question around. I have seen the most amount of data loss and inefficiency. Okay, yeah. So I think most companies lose that data because it does not get logged into the CRM, and so you need that your CRM to be your source of truth. If you're able to capture all the things that are important, right? I'll give you another example of what we did that allows us to really be on top of things, right? We connected our dialer to attention, then attention to obviously to is connected to the CRM. And so whenever our BDRs would cold call um, a sales leader and they would say, hey, we're in contract with this competitor of yours until this date, right? It rarely happens, but when it does, automatically we capture the date, we clean it up, and then it goes into Salesforce, so we know exactly which competitors they use and when is the renewal date, right? So that at that point you can create more workflows around like pinging from there the sales team around, hey, we're actually 5 months before renewal date, might be time to reach out to that company. All right, hold on. I should clarify, is there any value in... Yeah. So Viraj, exactly. There's a ton of value in optimizing your middle of funnel, right? This is kind of like what I was saying here is there's a lot of data that you learn, especially around your close losses, right? You lose a deal for XYZ reason, when they're going to move forward with that competitor. And then when you need to re-engage. So if you're doing sales year one, that doesn't really make that much sense to capture this, but for starting year 2, year 3, etc., your business is supposed to last. So at that point, you need to capture all that information to be able to act better on your target market. There's a million of things that you can do around optimizing middle of funnel. It's just, again, as I was saying earlier, it does require a lot of creativity, and a lot of growth people have worked out top of funnel optimization because their jobs depend on it using Clay and other tools. But middle of funnel is also something where there's a ton of low hanging fruit. If you realize that your reps are at 10 or 15% win rate, then there's an issue, and you need to figure out how to increase those win rates. So let me kind of go through the other questions. So how are you able to coach your teams of SDRs creating Clay workflows? That is an excellent question. So a very smart sales leader told me one day that you need to prioritize when your sales is going to depend on three things: the talent that you bring in, the quality of your pipeline, and then the enablement. And the talent that you bring in, when we start hiring SDRs, we really, and again, that might be because we're a smaller company, we really try to focus on SDRs who are extremely smart and could be technical or had kind of like a hacker mindset, right? So a question that I would always ask is, the traditional YC question, which is, tell me about a time where you hacked the system to your own advantage, right? And then I try to see who are the kind of like the smarter BDRs, who can like hack their ways through things. And then initially I coached our first BDRs on Clay, spending time with them, and they're incentivized to learn how to do it because their quota is going to depend on that. And then new BDRs get coached by existing BDRs, and so that's kind of like how we've done it. I don't think that we really systematize this, but that's kind of like our system, that the new guys get coached by the existing ones. All right, I have more questions on Slack integration. Yeah, reach out via LinkedIn. Keeping your tools inside of your CRM would make it official. Yeah, Richmond Taylor. So keeping your tools inside of your CRM would make an official one source of truth, right? I'm not sure to understand the question. If you want to clarify it, but if you, yeah, manage packages. Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, you can do that. in our case, the workflows piece really worked out really well, I guess. So that's how we were able to do it. The issue, and Salesforce is a great CRM, we use it, but it's extremely slow. And when you start using managed packages, things kind of like keep getting slowed down and so on. So maybe not necessarily the best thing to do, especially if you want to increase rep adoption. I think that at the end of the day, you know, if your reps live on they spend a lot of time on Salesforce, but it's slow. Maybe Slack might be a better source to get them to to increase their activity around that, right? Or keep that source of truth updated, and then obviously having even like native workflows that go in from whatever tools you're using straight into Salesforce. Great. By the way, feel free to connect with me. I'm sure people have dropped on LinkedIn. People have dropped my LinkedIn, but please definitely connect with me. Follow our LinkedIn page also. I'm going to drop our LinkedIn page too, because we also post a lot of interesting and cool stuff there. So here, if you want to follow our LinkedIn page, let's view as a member. There we go. Boom. Sweet. Great. Awesome. Well, I think that's it. I am happy to always take some time and share some learnings whenever any one of you wants to reach out or anything. We'll be also definitely feel free to visit our website attention.com, and our sales team will be more than happy to spend some time with you. Thank you, everyone. But would you see value for attention to the system? All right, we can maybe talk offline since we're hitting time. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Oh, thank you so much for that awesome session, Anis. And a big shout out to attention.com for being our diamond sponsor. Let's head over to the last session for day 2 with Cynthia Barnes talking about closing deals with confidence in 2025. We'll see you guys over there.